You're not seriously good.
We're filming the whole video like this.
And on we'll go.
Today I am here with my boyfriend Charlie, and we decided to do kind of a Q&A video.
Q&A video.
So I put a Q&A box on my Instagram for a couple hours, and I got a bunch of questions. So we are going to answer those for you today. The first question is, do you guys watch any shows together? I mean, like, we watch The Good Doctor. That's probably...
We watch a lot of shows together.
I know, but The Good Doctor is like the big one.
We watched a lot of shows. I mean, Steven Universe, My Little Pony, Good Doctor.
Yeah.
Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah, we watch Kitchen Nightmares.
God, what have we watched?
I don't know. I can't remember anything.
I'm blanking.
I know. I can't remember anything we've watched together ever. Like, which is so stupid. We watch a lot of movies together, to be honest.
Like movies.
He likes movies, so we watch a lot more movies together. But we've watched like My 600 Pound Life. Like, we've watched like that shit. All those trashy Netflix dating shows. Yeah, we watched a couple of those. The Circle. The Circle was so good. Like, you liked it. He really didn't want to watch it, and I made him watch it, and he really ended up liking it. We also watched Too Hot to Handle. We watched Black Mirror. So that kind of stuff. What are the best gifts you've given each other?
Best gift I've given me.
My, like, Rapunzel promise ring. Probably that one.
I also think it was the scrapbook.
Oh. Yeah.
Not the scrapbook, the binder. The scrapbook was nice.
The binder with all
The binder with everything. You gave me sheet music, notes, poems.
Oh, so there was a binder that I did one year. I didn't want a scrapbook. I was like really bad at scrapbooking. I still am.
You are fine. You're not the best scrapbook. You're an amazing collage.
I'm really good at collages. I'm bad at scrapbooking. But this one year I had printed out like a bunch of poems I'd written and sheet music and pictures and put them in a binder and like organized them. And I gave that to you. So, yeah. Who are your favorite YouTubers?
I like Good Mythical Morning. I like Alfie.
Alfie Days.
I like Dr. Mike.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I do. Star Kid is YouTube.
Yeah, okay.
Star Kid.
Okay. My favorite YouTuber used to be Jenna Marbles, and then she
Died.
Died. Stop. Stop it.
She didn't die. You know she didn't die.
Like, I think about that because like I haven't seen her, so what if?
What do you mean? She just posted a video.
No, she
You
didn't
heard her
post that.
voice.
Julian posted
Well,
it.
you
I
heard her voice.
heard her voice. Yeah,
Exactly. So she's not dead.
I did. She's not dead. Two of my favorite YouTubers are Jenna Marbles and Julian. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and I don't want to disrespect him by mispronouncing it. He's an amazing vlogger. He inspired all of my B-roll that I've ever done in my life. It's all terrible compared to his shit, but I like Kit Boga. He calls scammers on Twitch and live streams it, and it's pretty funny. He wastes their time. I like him. I also like the Illuminati. Naughty. Like, naughty. Okay. Name's down here.
You said Illuminati.
Yeah.
I love the Illuminati.
She is really funny, and she does a lot of, like, investigations into businesses or charities and stuff that I am also interested in, like MLMs and stuff like that I want to know more about. So her content's really interesting. Dose of Buckley is, like, one of my favorite pages. They're probably one of my favorites. I mean, those are, like, my favorite regular YouTubers. That's not, I don't really watch a ton of, like, dog content on YouTube, to be honest. What are your stims? So, like, I did a video on stim toys at some point, and I showed, like, all of those, but I think, like, my other stims, like, that I do, like, with without a stim toy, like when I'm just like out or whatever. Or like I've recently, I don't know why I've been doing this, but like a lot recently I've been going like up above my head. I do this a lot. Like I put my fingers between my other fingers and I like hold it really tight. Sometimes I'll do like vocal stims where I go, or like, you know, like I'll make like, yeah, like I'll make a noise or I'll say something, and it's like a vocal stimulation because you can feel it like back here, and that is sort of calming sometimes. How does sensory processing disorder affect you? What do people on the outside looking in see? So sensory processing disorder affects me in a couple different ways. I have sensory overloads that can get really upsetting. With Arlo, they've kind of gone way down because I think that having him there for sensory stimulation, for sensory output is really helpful. And also, one of the biggest reasons that I have sensory overload is because like, oh, I'm focusing on walking through a store and following the person that I'm with, but I can't do that if there's a ton of other things going on. It's really helpful for Arlo to be pulling me forward and him focusing on following that person so like I can process the other, stimuli. Otherwise, I also stim a lot, do a lot of stimming. I do a lot of like texture seeking, and then there's also some like texture aversion, so like anything sticky I really can't handle. That really bothers me.
Oh, did I tell you something spooky?
Did you? Did it really? No way, what?
No, I didn't.
Then why did you tell me that?
We were talking about it.
That wasn't funny.
There's nothing sticky in your bag.
Okay.
It's not covered with stickiness.
Stop.
I said it's not.
Okay. I also don't really like things being wet either, so like, showers bother me. I don't like things touching my face a ton. Like the water hitting my face repeatedly is just really, it messes with me. So I don't really take showers very often if I can avoid it, but I'm really trying to like slowly acclimate myself to being able to do that. A lot of my sensory difficulties are slowly getting better over time because while I learn about them, I can sort of desensitize myself to them, but it's never fully gonna go away. What do people on the outside looking in see? So like when I'm having a sensory overload, like what does that look like?
You're freaking out.
How often do you dislocate something? I used to dislocate stuff a lot more often, especially when I was like moving around prior to like COVID, because you know, when I was like out and about and doing things, like I would dislocate something when we were in public or when we were dog training or when I was with Michaela or something like that. Now it happens less, but it's a lot more difficult for me to get things back in, it seems like. I'm not sure if that's just because it's winter or what. I do have subluxations though that happen kind of throughout the day where like slowly the joint moves out of the socket, and that happens throughout the day in most of my joints, and I just have to kind of like be conscious of them, and I'm like, you know, sometimes I'll like make sure that I'm conscious, like, oh hey, this shoulder feels like it's subluxing, I should maybe like do some exercises to make it feel better or something and make it go back in. Otherwise, you know, like my elbows do it all day, every day, and so I have to just slowly pop them throughout the day to make sure that they're like reset. What is the one thing that annoys you the most about the other person?
The most? I have two things.
That's not one thing, that's two things.
I know.
Okay. Annoys you the most? I think it's really annoying that you have to be somewhere at a certain time, even if like there's no one waiting on you or like there's no scheduled thing. You still have to be there at a certain time. It's scheduled in your mind.
Exactly.
That's the only place it's scheduled.
I said I'd be there at 5:30, so I'll be there at 5:30. I'll be there at 5:20.
And then you'll sit in your car. Okay, what annoys you most about me?
I have two things.
Oh, great.
The first thing, I am a very fast-paced person. Well, when it comes to like getting ready and doing things, I do things in a rush, just like my father. So you take your time. So when I ask you to do something, it takes you a while to do it.
Well, that's
And
for
then
multiple reasons.
And then we leave later.
That's for multiple reasons. Number one, I do things slower because I don't have the fast energy that you do. I don't have a ton of energy.
Exactly.
Second of all...
Number two.
Wait, second of all...
Number two.
Second of all...
She does this thing where she's trying to tell me a story. And we're sitting there in silence. And then all of a sudden,
oh my god.
she's at the end of the story. And I'm like, where was the rest of it? Where was the beginning and the middle?
Well,
Because you just gave me the last sentence. You gave me the punchline.
You should be able to read my mind and know the rest of it.
We're sitting there in the car.
That's not you. You
And
should
then
be able
all
to
of
read
a
my
sudden,
mind.
and then all of a sudden, she's like, "Isn't that hilarious?" I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I have conversations in my head that involve you, and then at the end, that's
You
when I
decide to bring
actually
me in.
say it out loud.
I just wish you would give me more information to
That's
be
a-
able to understand what's going on inside your head.
That's a good wish. Well, part of the other reason that I like move slower and whatever is because it takes me a second to process.
I know.
So processing might
I
take
don't
me
know
a
where
little
you were.
processing might take me a little bit longer, and I might not be able to like understand.
But it's not like me like saying, "Hey, go do this." It's hey, we're gonna be there at 5:30, and you're ready to go at 5:45.
Yeah.
That's the thing that grinds my gears.
Right. How long have you guys been together?
Seven years and 13 days. From the date of this video, December 31st, filmed.
Oh, right.
December 31st.
We're filming this on New Year's Eve. Do you let the public interact with Arlo? So,
No.
well, that's not entirely
No.
correct.
He's a working service dog. It is illegal.
It is
It
illegal.
is illegal to distract a working service dog. You will be fined $6,000.
So
It happens to me.
it happened to you. I've fined you $6,000.
Multiple times.
A ton of times. Today. So basically, I let the public interact with Arlo under my.
I was gonna say, explain that. Don't just say you, because if you're walking by and they say like, "Oh, cute puppy, what's his name?" Like, no.
Right. Usually
you say no.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of the time I say no. And that a lot of that recently is because I went off of a medication that makes it so I have less time to know prior to me fainting. I have less time that I will, be able to get myself to a safe place before I faint. So he has to be focused most of the time, otherwise I am putting myself in danger. However, at the same time, I also think that it's really important for the public to understand that service dogs are dogs, especially with like people who've had bad experiences with service dogs. I think like thinking that they're like aggressive or whatever, I think that it's also important, like people who've had bad experiences with like fakes. I think that it's important for them to understand that that's not the norm. So in a lot of cases, if someone comes up and says like, hey, can I, is it okay if I pet the dog? I'll say no. But in some situations where it's like, we're talking to someone who, like in a couple videos you might see where like we're talking to like a shop owner or somebody like an employee who said something like, your dogs are so well behaved, we've had so many like fake service dogs in here. I'll usually okay them to pet Arlo, and I actually have a command that is go greet, which means that Arlo can go and say hello to that person, and then I say goodbye when he's supposed to come back and be like working again. What is blood pooling?
It's this job where you get a pool, like
Like an
in-ground pool.
Right.
I was gonna say indoor, which is cool. And instead of filling it with water, the customer has requested you fill it with blood. So you're pooling everybody's blood into the pool.
That sounds like the plot of Saw. Like you have to fill a pool with blood in order to escape the trap. New Saw trap? So in my case, basically what blood pooling is when the blood pools in the bottoms of my feet all the way up to like my legs. And the reason that it happens is because around my veins, where the blood is supposed to be pushed back up, I don't have the collagen around there that helps keep those veins strong and like constricted. So when my blood is trying to get back up, like from my feet back up to like my head where I need it, it can't because my veins are not constricted enough.
Your feet turn into blueberries.
They actually turn red most of the time. They change colors, basically. They swell. My legs and my feet swell.
No, they do become bright red.
With they swell with the blood, and they turn red or blue or something. You know, like a different color, basically. Usually red or purple sometimes. And
that's what it is. It's a purple undertone with a red overtone.
Right.
Not a blueberry. More like a raspberry.
We're talking about like paint tones here, like what colors we can paint the room. Same as my blood pooling ones, please. So that happens, and basically it causes a decrease of blood to like my head and my hands, like my upper body. So I usually get really lightheaded and dizzy, and I pass out. And Arlo is trained to alert to that. So Arlo alerts to like low blood pressure episodes to let me know that it's happening, and that usually gives me a good indicator like, hey, you're gonna pass out soon, unless you do something, or maybe it's too late, whatever. So I have to at that point lay down, and I elevate my legs to help gravity push the blood back into my head. Why do you wear the same clothes all the time? I wear basically this one set of pajamas that has like a pink tank top and some shorts and like gray sweatpants and a sweatshirt all the time. And that's because I have sensory processing disorder, and there are a limited number of options that I have for clothing that is like comfortable for me to be in for long periods of time. So it's just a lot safer for me to stay in my pajamas. And the other thing is like, you guys see me in those clothes a lot just because I film multiple videos in a day. Sometimes I'll sit down and I'll film like 3 or 4 videos in a row. Or like, you know, when we go out in public, like we film 3 videos in a row, and it's like the one time I wore my pajamas out in public that week, and we just happened to film 3 videos. So different reasons.
I at least changed my pajamas.
Yeah, good for you. How does he help you during fainting episodes? So if you're talking about Arlo, so what I had him trained to do before was to just lay down next to me and wait until I woke up, and then brace to help me stand up. Now he is trained.
Well, I mean, lay next to you and wait until you wake up to make sure that nobody gets too close and like harms you while you were unconscious.
Right. And then now I'm slowly training him. It's taking a long time just because I don't go out in public very often to work on this. I'm training him to burrow under my knees to help keep my legs elevated while I'm passed out. And that will help me get the blood back to my head. Usually during my fainting episodes, if I'm getting really dizzy or if Arlo alerts me in something and I can't, I'm having a hard time getting, you know, like to a safe place, Charlie will help me lay down, like if I need to get on the bed or something or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did that earlier.
Yeah. So he'll help me get on the bed or something.
I'm like thinking about in public, and I'm like...
in public, usually...
In public, you always have Arlo.
Usually Arlo handles.
That's why I'm like, I don't really do anything. But yeah.
He makes sure that I'm like comfortable, and then he just waits while I'm passed out. There's not really anything he can do while I'm passed out.
Laid you on bed and watched some Instagram.
How does he help you during your migraines? My migraines really fuck me up.
Well, I mean, the big thing is your head hurts. So like, no bright lights, no loud music, no loud video shows, movies, whatever, no loud noises. And then a head massage helps from time to time.
Yeah.
Not too hot, not too cold.
Yeah. Arlo alerts me to migraines, like, I'd say, like, 50% of the time. I think sometimes, like, it'll it'll happen and like he'll be able to alert me before I can feel it, and like before like and when I should actually take my medication, versus he alerts me when I'm like already starting to like have issues and I like can't take my medication at that point. It's just like, oh great, okay, cool. So but usually Arlo just cuddles with me during my migraines. He doesn't really, there's not really much he can do. Has anyone ever seen you faint?
I did today.
I have had a lot of fainting episodes in front of people. Michaela's watched me pass out a couple times. I've passed out in front of you many a times. Many a times. I passed out in public with Michaela before. My mom has seen me pass out. To be honest, the reason that a lot of people don't see me pass out is because I don't know a lot of people.
I wasn't gonna say anything, and I'm like, you don't really have any other people that would see you pass out.
Yeah. Nobody's really seen me pass out like a ton. I passed out at school one time, and that was when I was on the medication that was like really helpful, but it was also destroying my body, so I had to go off of it, and that's why I pass out a lot more now. I don't really have like a ton of friends or people that would see me pass out. Like, I just don't. So the people who like are close friends with me or like friends with me in general have seen me pass out, and like everybody else just like is not close enough with me, I guess. Why do you practice fainting tasks in public? If I don't practice fainting tasks in public, he will never know how to do them in public. He will only know how to like remember to do them at home. So it's important that I practice all of our tasks when we're in public and when we're at home. I usually only ever practice fainting tasks when I'm in public, when I'm with someone else, so that if someone does, and there's an embarrassing video on my channel about that. If you want to go watch that, I'll put the iCard up here. It's one of my most embarrassing stories. But that's why I usually only do fainting practice task. Like, I practice the fainting task when someone else is with me, because that person who's with me, like let's say it's you or Michaela, if somebody else, like a stranger, comes up and sees me, they're gonna be like, oh my god, do we need to call 911? And that person can be like, actually she's training with her service dog right now. And it's just a lot easier that way. How do you run with EDS? Very carefully.
You know, only the 2 times that I've ever seen you run in your life, you fell over. One was on your way to a doctor's appointment and you slipped and scraped your knee pretty bad, and the other time you dislocated your freaking ankle, passed out, and slammed into the side of the skate rink, or the skate ramp.
But hey, I ran with...
It was great.
I ran with Arlo in that field
hilarious.
once.
Oh my god.
The thing is like, I run and like, I don't know, it's... If I get hurt,
You
it's
just
like,
have to accept the fact that if something happens, you can't be surprised.
yeah.
You decided to do it, it was your stupidity,
Right.
and you didn't take any action to prevent it.
Accurate.
So it's your own fault.
Yeah.
Next
I'm glad we're on the same page. So I run with EDS because EDS is a flare disorder, meaning that there are some days where it's better and some days where it's worse. I have braces that I wear, or at least I try and remember to wear them whenever I'm going out and doing active things. That
Whenever we went to like go and take Arlo to a park or something, or when I was doing my laps around the field and you were training without, you wore your braces.
Right. So I have braces for my knees and my ankles and like my elbows and my wrists, and I have braces for everything that are supposed to help me do things that a normal person would do. Second of all, Arlo needs exercise, and you know, I also need exercise, so we do run and play and stuff like that. And there's some days where like I'm feeling good enough to do that, and other days where I'm not. So I take precautions as much as I possibly can, like with braces, and you know, there's certain things that like I definitely can't do. Like, I'm not supposed to run up or down stairs, or run up and down. Right, and I don't, and run up and down inclines. But if it's like a flat field or whatever, then it's usually okay.
I remember you falling over the street.
That was not funny.
It was so funny. Your mom and I were both like, come on, Gabrielle, let's go. Move your ass. And then all of a sudden, I'm sorry. I know it really hurt, but it was really funny. Oh my god.
And nobody thought something was possibly wrong with me at that point. They were just like, oh no, everything's
No,
fine.
you just tripped.
Oh, I just tripped, yep. And then I went in there, and my mom was in there, and they said, "Oh my God, your whole knee is like subluxed. Like, oh my God, what the fuck? How did your insurance cover your wheelchair so fast?" But I'll put the dates up here. The dates will be here. They'll be right here. Right here is where they're gonna go. Right here. This location. I can see why people might think that I got it really fast, and that's just because of my upload schedule. So at the time, I waited to edit this one video for a really long time because I had the appointment and I didn't immediately edit the video, and that was kind of a mistake. But I should have edited the video right away. But anyway, that video came out, and then I was able to put out the other wheelchair video of like where I got my chair, like I don't know, like the day that I got it. So I edited that one relatively fast. So I did put a timeline in there of like how long it took, and I talk about in some of my other videos, like talking about like how to get a wheelchair and that kind of stuff. How long it usually takes. It usually takes, you know, it can take anywhere like from 3 months to like 6 months. It took me less time just because I have a really, really good insurance company. And when I called, they basically, you know, knew what was going on. Like, we had been planning on me getting a wheelchair for a while. So when I sent in the claim, it didn't take the usual 2 or 3 weeks that it takes for them for insurance to approve that kind of stuff. They approved it the same day. And yeah, second of all, most of the chair parts that I ordered, the company, National Seating, already had. So, yeah. Did your doctor prescribe your wheelchair? Yes. My wheelchair was actually prescribed by a couple different doctors had like made arguments for it. My rheumatologist was the first person who actually prescribed the wheelchair, and then my pain management doctor made some like requirements of it, and then my primary care doctor made some like requirements of it. My physical therapist also wanted a couple things. So everybody put in their own letters, and the wheelchair dealer was like kind of made to figure those things out. Did you buy your own wheelchair? No, luckily, because it would have been like $20,000. My insurance covered it at 100%. I was really lucky because the thing is I didn't just get a wheelchair, I also got the power assist that was attached to it as well. So that allows me to move a lot faster in my chair and to move a lot better in my chair just in general, because I don't have the joint strength and the muscle to push that hard for very long. So having the power assist is really helpful. So yeah, I did not purchase it myself. I went through my doctor, and then I went through my physical therapist, and then I went through National Seating and Mobility to get my chair. Are you a professional dog trainer? Yes, I have been training now, like technically I've been like in the field for like 4 years. I have been taking classes for a pretty long time. I was taking online courses for a while, and then I got my apprenticeship / internship thing at one of the first dog training places that I was looking at, the first program that I was a part of. And I interned with them for like a year. Like, I apprenticed with them and like shadowed them for like a year. And then I was able to get funding from them to get my licensure and stuff like that. They funded my classes, and they funded my certification and licensure, like testing and stuff like that. And now they're funding a lot of my training because I want to get some other certifications done. I would really like to be able to train police canines by myself. Right now I can't do that. First of all, because I'm too small. So I would like to do other types of training, but I have to get a certification for that. So I'm kind of waiting for that. Why did you have someone else train with Arlo? Originally, when I first got him, I was actually in an inpatient program, and I could not have a dog with me. So when I got Arlo and I picked him up, he was 6 months old, and I wanted to be sure that he had the best start possible. And staying at my house with my parents, who are not very dog familiar or dog educated, was not the best course of action for us. So I sent him to stay with a trainer that at the time I trusted and I thought was a really good trainer and I had seen good reviews from, so I sent him there. I will also admit that I was in a kind of a point of very bad depression at the time that I got him, so I wasn't making the best decisions, and I probably should have looked further into maybe leaving him at the breeder longer and picking him up on my own. But at the time, that seemed like the best decision was to take him to this trainer who seemed like she was really good. Second of all, even professional dog trainers will take advice from other professional dog trainers. Everyone has different experience and everyone has different advice that they can give and things that they know and things that they've learned in the field, and I always want to learn more. I'm a professional and I'm licensed, but I always want to learn more from anybody that I can.
So you can always learn something new.
Right.
So even like in my field, or even as a doctor, it's never just one doctor on a patient's case. It's like 2 or 3 different doctors or med students or fellows and a whole bunch of, it's a whole team of people coming together with different ideas, different backgrounds to help give the patient the best care. So it's like, how do you give the dog the best training? Is if you're stuck, go ask advice, go learn new stuff.
Yeah, so I'm always learning new things. I'm always trying to figure stuff out. So there will never be a time where I don't seek advice from somebody else. Why did you support an abusive trainer? So I believe the trainer that you're talking about is the first trainer that I had with Arlo. And I personally don't know if her training is abusive or just negligent.
Just a little bit of a disclaimer here. Since I don't work with her anymore, and since I only worked with her for a short time, I can't make a full total comment about like all of her training experience and how she trains and if it's good or bad or whatever. However, I can say that this is my experience with her. This is what I experienced, and I do know that a friend of mine also had a sort of negative experience. So those are kind of the only things I can go off of. I only met with 2 of her other clients once. I didn't hear about their experience really, so it's difficult for me to make an overarching comment about her training ability when we only worked together for a short time and it was a while ago. So just take what I'm saying as, just my experience, not like a direct review on her training abilities.
I've only witnessed one thing in person that really sort of made me concerned. So personally, I don't necessarily think that she's like a horrible trainer. I just think that she isn't the right trainer for me. So at the time, I didn't know anything about this trainer ever having any issues or anything. The social media account that she showed me that she had does not have any evidence of her being, a not good trainer for any reason. So at the time, I really trusted her. She gave me several positive reviews from other clients, that kind of stuff. So as soon as I found out that something was up, the minute that I witnessed something in person that really sort of like made me uncomfortable, I stopped seeing her. And at the time, I had already started learning things on my own about becoming a dog trainer, like professionally, because at the time I was just taking classes to be able to train my own dog on my own, and like owner train, but I had started learning on training professionally, and I noticed that a couple things didn't add up to me, so I did stop seeing her. But no ill will towards her or anything. She's a really good person, and she deserves to be happy and stuff like that, and I think that she doesn't deserve any like hate or anything, so I'm not gonna give out like her name or whatever. And I don't plan on ever like giving out my story about that or anything, just because it's not my story to tell. It was not with my dog. I just witnessed it happen to somebody else. So, that's somebody else's story to tell, so I'm not gonna do that. Plus, I don't want to, like, if I misunderstood something, I don't want to, like, mess with her business, So, yeah. And our last question is probably the best question. It is Toby.
That's a real thinker right there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I don't know either. I feel bad that I don't have a straight answer for you. But I you know what? I'll tell you what. I will think about it. I'll put it on my list of things to work on, and I will make a whole video answering that question eventually, okay?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that it might.
I think that'll cover it.
I think that might warrant a video in response. So, all right. Well, that's kind of all I have for you guys today. I hope that that answered some of your questions that you might not have known. If you have any other questions, you can leave them down below in the comment section.
Section!
So that's kind of all we have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in whatever we make next. Bye!